Malyutka.
How's it going? What do we have here? Anti-tank missile. I'm gonna unbox it and then I'm gonna talk about it, give you some historical facts, maybe explain how it works, maybe show you some reference videos. Let's get into it. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying, we got a training anti-tank missile. This thing is pretty cool. So the story behind this is a training device, and this is the all original packaging. And first thing I'm going to show you is that it actually comes with the original packing list. So it comes with documents, right? Very cool. Obviously it has an invoice. I think it's either an invoice or a packing list. So here we go. We got a packing list, right? And then we have a manual of some kind that I'm gonna show you, give you a closer look. We got this manual here. I'm not gonna lie, I cannot read this. So pretty cool. We got some dates, some signature. I'm pretty sure this is all maybe like quality assurance things, maybe inspections. It would be pretty handy if somebody translated this in the comments. Pretty difficult to do, I get it, but just a general idea. Maybe it would be pretty interesting to see. The rest is empty, so maybe when it got passed off to different places, maybe it got different signatures. Oh, here's more. But yeah, nonetheless, pretty cool. We got some dates, yeah. Let's get more into it. 4 latches. Top just comes off. And we got the missiles here. Also, this pretty interesting tag over here. Again, cannot read this, so any interpretation would be cool. I'm gonna leave this here. So here it is. It comes in this pretty interesting crate. It is lined with this plastic thing, and then we have this locking mechanism. This is a little piece to hold the wings from deploying. I am gonna show you how to take it out. I guess I could leave this here for now and show this later. Well, pretty easy. One pin. This unlatches. It's under some tension, so this unlatches. And the missile. So what I am planning on doing is taking over to the table and talking a bit about the details of this thing. And let's go now. We're gonna talk about a bit about, you know, its history and some of the specs. I pulled out some of the specs because I don't really know this by hand. But so this is the MALYUTKA or Sager missile. Acronym, it is let's see, 9K11. You can actually see it written here. So what do we have? We have one of the very first anti-tank missile, wire-guided anti-tank missile that was produced in the Soviet Union. This entered service in 1963. We got about, in this configuration, if it were like a real warhead, it would be capable of 500 millimeters of penetration in armor. We have about 860 millimeter in length, 125 millimeter diameter. The real one would weigh about 11 kilograms, heat warhead, and a flight speed of about 120 meters per second with a range of 2.5–3 kilometers. This thing has some pretty interesting features. So like I said before, this is a training device, so there was never any energetics in it. And also it is made out of bakelite, which is a Soviet plastic, more like. So what you can see here, there's a few interesting things. So first of all, the wings that I'll show you how they get deployed in a minute. The one other things that I noticed was at the bottom of it, you kind of see the different attachment, which these ones, which I believe were, I'm pretty sure that this is where you would attach it on a rail from its launching devices, and I'll even talk about that later. These are nozzles, I think these are flight nozzles, and then you probably have a booster nozzle. At the back of it, I think this is where the cable would be connected. You can actually kind of untwist this cap, and I think that's the connection for the cable. I am not 100% sure on that. One other interesting thing that I did notice about this, and I haven't confirmed it by actually seeing it written anywhere, but as you can see here, there's a latch, and what I believe the latch is for is a modularity thing, meaning I think you were able to detach the warhead and, you know, keep the body, keep the propulsion system, and attach different sizes of warhead. And I did see other pictures where this would have, you know, longer warheads, it would have tandem warheads, a bunch of different things. So that's my theory. I have not confirmed it by, you know, I haven't read it anywhere. Another cool thing is that, so yeah, this was entered service in the 60s. It was designed to kind of be pretty modular. Like, it came in this carrying case, right? And it kind of looks like an airport luggage. And you would just pull it out, kind of set it up and shoot it, and then the operator would have this joystick. And apparently I read that it was like really hard to control, and it took a lot of training for people to actually learn how to guide this thing. But other than that, yeah, you could fire from the ground, but you can also mount it on vehicles, and there's many examples of that. But you can also mount it on helicopters. And funny enough, so I have this book, right? It has different air missiles and anti-tank missiles. This is a pretty old book, but as you can see here, towards the end of it, there is the Sagger segment. And I don't know if you can see it, but the Sagger is mounted on the helicopter, which is pretty cool. So they used to shoot these out of a helicopter. I'm not sure how they would control them from the helicopter, but yeah, so this book has some interesting details. It talks about like the dimension, as I mentioned, and then yeah, warhead, hollow core, 6.6 pound, and this one states 600 millimeters of armor penetration. And then we have the users, and talks about a bit of the history. But apparently this saw a lot of use in the Middle Eastern War in the 70s, and they did a pretty decent amount of damage, onto which NATO and Israel started really contemplating and thinking about doctrines on how to combat this kind of things. Anyway, yeah, so these are some of the features. So the wings are deployable. They kind of just fold out like this. So these are the wings fold out. You just lock it to place. As you can see, it's pretty good looking little anti-tank missile here. Some other interesting facts. I pulled up some literature about it. I don't keep this stuff memorized, but so apparently, like, as soon as the operator would shoot the missile, the wire is actually a 3-wire part wire, and so as soon as you shoot it, it would climb a little bit, and then in flight it would actually spin. And if it makes sense, by sliding on the wings. So I guess, okay, so the difference is, so we see how in the RPG the exhaust nozzles of the rocket engine motor were slightly tilted to give rotation. In this case, I guess it's a combination, right? So you have, at the beginning of flight, the rotation is directed by the booster, but in flight, the wings are actually slightly angled, and that's what gives the rotation, which, you know, now that I am looking at it, I don't know if you can see it, but the wing itself, it's not completely in line with the center line of the missile. It is slightly angled, so that's really cool. I just found that out. A little detail I noticed. Another interesting fact, the engagement range that this missile had was 500 to 800 meters, which, if you think about it, that's pretty far. Like 500 meters away, it's pretty far. So the way they would kind of guide this thing is that if the targets were under 1,000 meters, the operator would simply like do it by eye. He would just track the missile in the sky with his eyesight and try to guide it that way. And at over 1,000 meters, they would have this like periscope looking thing that would allow them to magnify the visuals and be able to like guide it more. So we discussed also I mentioned how this was a very difficult missile to operate, and apparently data shows, records, that the effectiveness was not that great, in the sense that it really did require a lot of skill to use this missile. And I personally seen videos on combat footage websites where you see operators like clearly missing targets, because apparently this thing is really freaking difficult to use. But nonetheless, I think this is a pretty cool piece of history. It is a good, it's a nice display model, and I hope that I gave a little bit of insights into showcasing it, because that's kind of why I have it, and hopefully I taught somebody something. But yeah, I'll probably have this in my collection for a little bit. But this is cool. I'm glad you know, you guys enjoyed the video, hopefully, and hopefully you did learn something. So thanks for watching.